Yeah, great volleyball coming back to the Pav here again. Nice weekend for the team out in Michigan. Some growth, getting healthier, playing a little more consistently, receiving the ball better, things that matter a lot as you get closer to December. And told him I'd like to see him build on last weekend with a great week against two teams that are, in the upper half of the Big Ten doing good things. And yeah, if you're around, you should be here tomorrow and Saturday. It's going to be good volleyball, I think.
You can talk about where you're playing going into this match, but also the significance of Washington, and they were also on a 4-match win streak up until the USC loss too.
Yeah, health is a big thing right now. You're seeing that across the Big Ten. Who can stay healthy and avoid major injuries? They had a tough one, at the end of the Oregon match preceding the USC match. And as we know, those things can really derail your progress. But they're a good team, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I think they move well, good team chemistry. Going to be a challenge, both matches. You can't get caught looking ahead at Oregon, obviously, since they took them down before that. So, yeah, just keep doing the same things, but against opponents that are a little stronger.
What did you see in the win over Oregon, both for Washington and looking ahead to Saturday?
Physicality, right, I think stands out for both teams. I think Washington's got a pair of opposites that are as physical of a block as you can see in the Big Ten. It's one thing that they're great at, have been great at for a long time, so no surprise there. And then with Oregon, probably kind of the opposite. Offensively, they've got some talent who can score the ball in some physical ways, and outside and opposite and middle, who are as physical as you get. And so, yeah, they're a perfect fit for the Big Ten, just with their physicality kind of expressing itself in different ways. One more defensively and one more offensively.
How much is the conference changing competitively by adding the Pacific Coast teams?
I think where they all stand, it kind of shows, right? They're all in the upper half. UCLA maybe is a little bit below that, but kind of what I was expecting in terms of their strength, maybe even a little better than I was expecting, honestly. Those trips out west, we had one, to USC and UCLA. They're no joke, right? And I think you're seeing that. I think at the end of this, when you look at winning percentages of teams that travel multiple time zones, I think you'll see just how challenging it's going to be year in, year out.
What do you think it'll be like? What do you think it'll be like tomorrow going against Washington for you?
I don't know. There's mixed emotions, right? There's the joyful side of it to see them doing well, and players you recruited who've developed and are doing well, and a coaching staff that you're close with. There's the competitive side of it, right? Wanting to keep our momentum going and beat a good team. And so, yeah, you don't really know what you're going to think or feel when you walk into the match, but I just expect it to be pretty good volleyball on both sides. Yeah.
Is there a lot stylistically about the conference that's changed with the Pac-12 teams coming in?
Yeah, you hear a lot about West Coast volleyball, you guys were always ragging on us when I was in Seattle, Cali ball, whatever you called it. But no, it's just high quality, right? Teams with significant experience, championship experiences, whether that be in the Final Four or national championships. All 4 programs have been in those spaces. That's a big deal, right? I mean, we know that those 4 schools added a lot to other sports, but in volleyball, that was 4 programs, that have been there on the last weekend multiple times, and it shows, yeah.
The players you recruited back at Washington that you stayed in close contact with?
No, we crossed paths. You got to see a couple of them at a wedding for an alumni. I've seen them at some USA events, right? Kind of all the spaces that we're permitted to see them, and yeah, try and share some gratitude and congratulate them on their success. But yeah, no one, alumni, still checking in with those guys pretty frequently as they continue their careers. But yeah, no.
Are they still doing a lot of stuff that you did, that you had them implementing?
Yeah, Tui's got them doing things better than I was doing, I think, in some ways. She finally gets to make all the big decisions, and she's doing a really nice job, right? I love the way they move. I love their team chemistry. The transition years are hard. We saw that from them. We saw that from us. And I just think where they are now today is so different from where they were last year. But not much surprise that she's got them going.
One thing that she said that the atmosphere, she hasn't been here yet, but she's kind of noticed from watching on TV the atmosphere here in the Big Ten is something different from what she was used to in the Pac-12 and you as well.
Yeah, they have good crowds in Seattle. We had them when we were there, and on the road we didn't always have that same experience. But they've already had that first experience. They played in the field house, in Madison, and this will be first trip to the PAV in a while. I think Washington and Minnesota, for whatever reason, only crossed paths a handful of times in their history, which is kind of surprising given how deep they both go in the tournament. So I never played in the PAV till I got here. I know I'm glad it's on our side. But yeah, it should just make for a classic Big Ten match midweek. Yeah, if you don't have anything going on a Wednesday or Thursday, show up.
Julia having a great year. Are there parts of her development that you don't see in the stat line that you think really stand out?
Yeah, serving the ball at a really high level, receiving the ball at a higher level, just these little incremental growth in those spaces. Everyone sees the attacking and probably some of the blocking, but just some of those non-scoring skills are where I see her improving, and just the volume, right? It's one thing to be efficient. It's another thing to have the volume that she's starting to get. And this weekend is going to be a good challenge for her against some solid blockers and defenders. But yeah, she's ready for it.
3 losses to unranked teams, I believe, in your time in Minnesota. How do you make sure that you win the games you should be winning?
Oh, good question. We don't spend too much time talking about ranked versus unranked, right? We try and be really sincere about every opponent, and we talk about all the ways that we could get it wrong that are outside of our control, the traps we can fall into. Keep it really just accurate to where this team is. We try and tell the story of how it's going for them, and just give our team as much information as we can. That way there's nothing that surprises them then when they get into it, and so far it's worked pretty well this year.
Anything else for Keegan? All set?
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Coming back from injury, how have you felt? And I know the team handled it pretty well without you, and then it's kind of seamless when you came back.
Thank you. I think it's been going well. I think we all sometimes have to take a game or a few practices off, and that's expected, and our team is really well-rounded and really balanced, and I think we flowed together really well. So it wasn't a huge difference for us.
Yeah. And the 4-match win streak, obviously there's been ups and downs as far as, during the season, but to put the streak together like that at this time of the year, what does that mean?
I think it's really cool. We talk about going into November and December. This is when teams start to pull a lot of things together, and you can see it in our program. You can see the flow that we have. You can see the relationships that we have on the court, and it's been awesome. We have a 4-match win streak, and that's great, but it doesn't mean anything going into this weekend. We're focused on the 2 games that we have at hand, and I think it's going to be a really good weekend for us.
Team had 13 kills last weekend. What was your?
I think our team played really well together. I think our defense was scrapping super well. They were flying all over the place, which is always super fun as a hitter to see your defense working so hard. And our setters were working really hard to push long sets and do all the things we've been working on in practice. And I think it just really showed how we're hard to work every day.
You expect anything different from the match, more from the match with Keegan and Washington? Matchup?
I think Keegan's definitely excited to see some of the players that he used to coach, but ultimately we're preparing the same way we would for any team. We know that Washington and Oregon are both really, really good, well-balanced teams. I think one of the things coming out of the Pac-12 is that they were focused on really balanced offenses and not just one power hitter, so it makes it harder on us as blockers to focus on spreading out all across the net, but I think we're preparing really well. We're going to do some film, the same routine we normally do, and it's going to be a good weekend.
How much has the conference changed competitively by adding the West Coast schools?
I think it has definitely had an impact. The Big Ten has always been known as one of the premier volleyball conferences, and now we added 4 more really good teams and more teams ranked in the top 25 within just our conference. So I think it just makes it more fun. Every weekend is a really good match weekend.
Has your sister talked at all about the transition, like from Keegan to Coach Tui there, and she was under both of them on staff together?
Yeah, she's obviously super happy for Coach Tui. She loved playing for Coach Tui, and she said that Tui's been there for quite a number of years, and she's ready for this. She's earned this position, and so when the position opened up, Tui was just the go-to person for that job.
Yeah. When you look at the transition from Keegan to this program, was there anything that you felt like, because you played Washington previously, that that you kind of the system or anything like that you noticed from the way they play there and the play here?
You mean in terms of like Washington systems and our systems? Yeah. I think a lot of times systems are built around the players that we have, so some of it might be similar. I think we work on a lot of the same skill sets and hitting high hands and hitting deep corners, but I think a lot of times it's based on the hitters you have and the skills that they have, so it might not be identical. I haven't noticed anything particular that's like, oh yeah, it's the same.
Right.
We're sort of nearing the end of the season here coming up, but how do you stay focused and keep your eyes on the prize these Nebraska the next week without getting too far focused on like the tournament, because the talk is kind of coming up.
Yeah, the talk is definitely starting to come up with the tournament, but we sort of live in 2-week blocks around here. We know we have the games we have this week and the games we have next week, and that's about all we know. I didn't even realize we were going to Nebraska next week until about 2 days ago. So everything sort of runs on a 2-week basis, and the tournament is coming. We know it's coming next month, but we can't get there without the games that we have this month. So I think we're just staying focused on that.
At least from the outside perspective, you've been a moral leader since day one, getting to Minnesota. How's that role evolved for you over the last year and a half?
When I first got here, I think the moral role that I was in was a lot of energy and a lot of hyping people up, which I love to do. It's my favorite thing. And I think it's still that way, but I think I'm a little bit more of a trusted person on the court. I think my team relies on me as a point of stability now, as well as energy. But ultimately, I'm still trying to do the same thing, be there for my teammates and bring them up all the time. Sometimes matches get tough, and I can be there to say, hey, we got this. We got ourselves to this position. We can get ourselves out on the other side in the positive.
Does playing against Pac-12 teams or former Pac-12 teams bring back a lot of memories from your time at Cal? Or is it sort of a fresh slate?
I think it's a little bit of a fresh slate. I think Washington is one that I would have expected to bring back some memories because my sister did play there. But their team has changed a lot. They had a lot of starters that graduated after my sister's class, so I don't know very many people on the team anymore. I think it's just the same as any other team. We're going to scout them and play them, and we don't really know the people on the other side very well.
What was the age difference like? When were you around Washington program, kind of volleyball career?
For my sister and I,
Yeah.
so she is 2 years older than I am, and then she played a 5th year, her COVID year at Washington. So we played against each other for 3 years, and then after that year I transferred. Not really, no.
Were you around any of the Washington staff when your sister was there? And you knew Keegan, I think, with any of the other staff?
Like I went on my sister's official visit at Washington when she was there, so I'd met them and done like tours around the school with them, but they weren't recruiting me or talking to me. So I met them, and if I saw them on the street, of course I would go say hi, have a conversation, but it's not like a super personal relationship.
Anything else for Lydia? You're all set?
All right, thank you guys. Have a good day.
Catch up with Washington. We've already talked to Lydia about it. You know, a little bit extra for Coach Keegan.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an exciting game. So we're going to play first Washington and Oregon, and they're both good teams, but we are first focusing on Washington and then Oregon. And they're new to Big Ten, so it's going to be exciting to play with them.
When you look at Lydia's game, I mean, obviously, you know, last year all Big Ten.
Yeah.
Where's she grown the most, and defensively, how much does she help you?
I think she is a great player, obviously, as like attacking and defensively. Like she's getting better, like picking up the tips, defending and stuff. And like she's one of the energetic people on the team too. She's just hyping up, and she's a good leader on the team. So yeah, it's so fun to play with her.
Is she get as hyped as you?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, close, I can say.
In a year, you went from just starting to learn the college game to being one of the best players in the Big Ten. What parts of your gameplay development are you most proud of?
I'm just trying to play my game and like create a good connection with the team. I think that's the most helpful thing. And also, like when there's good blockers in front of the net, it's like so much easier to dig the walls because it's a good setup, and you just need to be where it's like empty. And our block is doing a great job about it. So, and also like being energetic and like loving volleyball and like loving the environment and stuff. So I think it's just the energy and the love of volleyball helps me. Yeah.
When you look at this team, what's been the key to the 4-match win streak?
I think our attack percentage is pretty good, and also our blocking is really good. Like Phoebe is doing a great job. Last couple of games, like she's always great, but like last couple of days she's like executing her game, and she's doing an amazing job. Also, our defense is pretty good. We are going for every ball, and yeah, just trying to do our best for every game.
7-1 in the last month. Do you sort of feel that energy and positivity sort of through practices and through games, or is it sort of a one game at a time approach?
It's one game at a time. Like we just concentrate on the next game and just go for that game, and the other games just right after each other. The next game is the most important thing.
Be honest, how much has Keegan brought up his past at Washington?
Not that much actually, honestly. Yeah, I know it's his past and like he's in a new environment, and I think he's just moving on too. But like he hasn't brought up that much, in my opinion. Yeah.
5 of your last 6 on the road. How does it feel to have the short home stretch now?
It's so exciting. I'm so happy to play. I'm so happy to I'm so happy that we are gonna play at home. And I mean, I love the environment. I love the fans, and it just after a long travel 2 weeks, it's gonna be fun to play here.
Anything else for Z?
Thank you.
Thank you.